Hello, guys, and welcome back. You are watching the Camera 64 podcast, and I am your host, Alfonso Chavez. And as always, we're coming to you from sunny San Antonio, Texas, from right here in the garage, guys. This is my garage here at my home. This is my preferred method of shooting. I will be mixing this set up from time to time. I do want to do some green screen at some point or another, so we will definitely be mixing it up. But today, guys, I want to talk about the start of 2024. This is day 2 of 2024, and I want to know what you are doing for 2024. Now, my advice in these videos of these upcoming days and weeks is going to be about what are some of the things that I personally would do right now if I was going to be starting in 2024 as a photographer. Some of this stuff you might think to yourself, it's kind of bad advice, or you might feel that way. And that's okay, guys. Everybody has an opinion, but if I'm telling you, if I was starting today and I didn't have a lot of money, I have to assume that you don't have a lot of money, because most people, including myself, I did not have $2,000 or $3,000 to put down on camera equipment. Most people just don't, and very few, even fewer people are going to spend that amount of money to try and venture into something new that they don't know anything about, and that's where you find yourself. So this advice is coming from that point of view. I also have almost 20 years of experience at this point. I'm only 3 ways away from being 20 years, guys. That's a long time, and I've done it all. I've been through it all, and people are calling me right now. But 20 years, guys, almost 20 years, and I've seen it all. I've seen weddings, I've seen quinceañeras, I've done portrait photography, I've done studio photography, I've done team sports, I've done just about everything. I've shot video for corporate events. I've done it all, guys, at this point, literally all. Now, were there some mistakes along the way? Absolutely. I made a lot of mistakes, guys. I'll never forget. I won't go too much into that story on this particular video, but I'll kind of give you a hint. I was paid a lot of money to shoot some team photography, and I didn't know absolutely anything about it. But let me tell you guys, I jumped in, I did it. I did a horrible job at it, and I will go into that story into more details, but I did a horrible job, guys. If I was a parent receiving pictures from that session, my gosh, I would have asked for a refund and got my money back. That's how bad it was. But anyways, without that, that was a launching pad to allow me to do other things. So here's my thing, guys, with this whole thing, right? I want to get you on a path that's going to make you profitable, hopefully from the very beginning. So now here's the thing. You have to spend your money correctly. So today we're going to talk about camera bodies and camera bodies themselves, guys. What is a smart camera buy in 2024? And I think my particular answer might surprise you. It might surprise most people, not older photographers like myself, because I can almost promise you that they're doing the same things that I do. Now, for me personally, the camera has absolutely nothing to do with the final product, guys. To be honest, it absolutely don't. It absolutely does not. The camera itself it's built to do one thing, and it's built to capture light. So to put it all in a nutshell, if you have good light, like I do right here, I'm gonna get a nice looking result, period. It doesn't matter if I'm on a crop sensor. It doesn't matter if I'm on a micro four thirds or 1 inch or full frame or mega sensor, those super huge ones. What do they call that? I don't even know what they call it, but those, you know what I mean. Super huge, big old camera sensors. It doesn't matter, guys, period. If you have good light, you're gonna get good pictures. Just keep that in mind. Always remember that, guys. So when you're choosing a camera, don't get too stressed out about full frame, crop sensor, any of that, guys, because it really doesn't matter. I would suggest that you learn the lighting part of it, guys, because if you learn the lighting part of it, then you can make any camera look good. So why do I keep stressing this point? My point is that if you're smart, okay, guys, if you want to be smart in business, You want to spend the least amount of money to make the most amount of profit. That's would make good business decision. That would be a good business decision, right? We want to get our return on our investment. So with that in mind, what are some of the places that I would recommend to go look for cameras, right? I would look in pawn shops. I would look on eBay. I would look on local listings for used items. Guys, it's littered with cameras that there's so many cameras that you could have for $100 or less, or spend a little bit more and get a high quality camera. So the perfect example would be for myself. I shoot on the 1D Mark III, guys. That camera is almost 15 years old now. It's only 10 megapixels. That's it. But it's a fantastic camera, guys. And that was considered by many photographers to be the worst focusing camera of all times, because it was plagued with so many focus issues. And that's absolutely true. I wouldn't be lying to you. You could go look it up. 1D Mark III, and you'll see all the focusing issues that the camera had right out of the factory. But guess what? If you're shooting that camera at, say, f9 or f11, it doesn't really matter. You eliminate all that stress that you might have about focusing if you're shooting in a studio setting, right? You're not going to have any of those issues. So you got to keep that in mind when you're purchasing a camera. So that's going to take me back. And so what are some of the cameras? Now I'm going to be talking about, sorry about that, guys. I swear nobody ever calls me, nobody ever texts me, only if it's a customer. This particular place it's not a customer, but anyways, I never receive calls. And of course, now that I'm recording, everybody and their mother's calling me. But back to the story, guys. So keep in mind, if you have good light, you're gonna have good pictures, guys, period. So keep that in mind. So you can buy a Micro Four Thirds camera. If you can get a camera, something like a G6 or G7, and you can get it for $50 or $100 or whatever they cost, I don't know what they cost. I'm gonna stick to Canon cameras only because that's what I know. I've gone through the entire line. When I first started, I had an XSI. That was the camera I bought for myself. And I think I spent $899. Now, if I look back at that, oh my gosh, $899 was a ton of money. Even now, if you were to buy an XSI, no, let's go away from the XSI. Let's go to the Canon 7D, right? I'm sorry, the T7, which is the current DSLR that's out right now. If you're spending $1,000 on that camera, that's just bad. It's bad. It's a bad decision, guys. You're starting out. You don't want to blow $800 on a camera that's going to do the same thing that something else might do. Let's just take a T3, an old T3i or a T2i. Now, those are super old cameras, but I guarantee you, if I go on eBay right now, I can find a T2i or a T3 or even a T4i. Basically, any of those crop sensor cameras in a box, brand new. I promise you I could find one. And I promise you're not going to spend maybe $150, maybe $200 if it's a little on the high end, right? But my point is that you can spend $150, okay, guys? And that camera is going to do almost everything that you need, right? There are a few exceptions to the rule. Obviously, if you're shooting sports, then the T2i and the T3i are not going to be good choices, only because they don't focus and take pictures quickly. That's the only downfall. Now, did I shoot sports photography with a T2i? Absolutely, I did. The camera, I just got rid of it. I just threw it out. As a matter of fact, yesterday, as part of my New Year's cleanup, I threw out my T2i, and that camera, as old as it was, had over 350 clicks on it. Okay, guys, the last time I checked it, I had 350,000 acquisitions, pictures taken on that camera, guys. That is crazy, because that's just a Rebel plastic body, nothing fancy, basic. It's as basic as it gets. But that camera made me so much money, guys. I can't tell you how much money I made with that one camera, guys. And that's the whole idea. That's the point, guys. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that if I was starting today, okay, now let me grab it because it's right over here. But, oh no, I put it back in the bag. But I have my 1D Mark III, okay? I bought that camera for $300, guys. $300. Now, it was not new in the box, but it only had 3,000 pictures on it, guys. So that means that whoever bought that camera originally and owned it only took it out a handful of times, maybe to shoot some pictures of the family, realized that the camera was just way too much, way over their head. They didn't want to take the time to learn the basics of photography, that they just put it back in the box, or they just put it back in its case and it sat there for God knows how long, guys. For it to only have 3,000, that's a brand new camera. As far as I'm concerned, that's a brand new camera, because that camera can get 300,000 or 400,000 pictures, and I'm nowhere even near that. And I paid $300 for it. Now, why? Why would I want a body that's that big? Okay, that body is big compared to a Rebel Series camera. When I walk in with that 1D Mark III, even today in 2023, guys, and you put a basic lens on it, let's just say you have a 50 millimeter on it. When I walk in with that big camera in my hands and it fills my entire hands just like that, and it's just humongous, enormous, and it catches so much attention, guys. I cannot tell you. People move out of the way. People will stop and pose for me, and I'm not even asking them to do that. They're doing it willingly. Why? Because they automatically make assumptions. They assume that since you have a big camera and you know how to use it, which, that we'll leave that for something else, but you know where I'm getting, right? It's an instant pass, guys. It allows me to get into spaces I normally would not get in. I promise you, if I was holding a little rebel camera like that with a little 55 to 18 to 55 on it, they're gonna say, okay, yeah, you need to stay over that. All the amateur photographers are over there. But if I had my 1D Mark III on me, big old honking camera, chances are they're gonna ask me, are you media? And hey, yes, I'm media, let me in. They're gonna let you in, guys. I cannot tell you how many times that has happened. I've gotten into places with no pass, no authority, not even asking, just a honking camera, guys. A honking camera. But the point is, guys, okay, camera bodies. What do I want? You want to spend the least amount of money on that at all times, guys. So if your budget is only $100, get you a Rebel. It doesn't even matter, guys. These cameras will last a very long time, guys. Most of my cameras, the older cameras, which I don't even have anymore, most of them had over 300,000 clicks on them, all of them, because I was a sports photographer. So between me and my son, we would rattle off 10 to 20,000 pictures on the weekend. And this was every weekend. We were doing this every weekend. And the bodies held up with no problem at all. I never had an issue. I was always able to take pictures. They were super dependable. And back then it was one camera for me and one camera for my son. I didn't have no backups or anything like that. So, those things should be the least of your worries. The megapixel count should be the least of your worries. 10 megapixels is more than enough for 99% of the people out there, unless you're just doing something that just needs blowing up and all that other BS. But to be really honest with you guys, you're never gonna need megapixels. You're never gonna need, super fast frame rates. They're nice to have, but do you absolutely have to have it? No. Mirrorless is another thing. It's great. I own mirrorless cameras, guys. I do, but again, it's part of my business. It's the only reason I'm able to afford cameras like that. I have an R6 Mark II. I have an R6. I have a 7D. A D7, I'm sorry, an R7, I'm sorry, see, I get them all mixed up. But anyways, the point is that I have those cameras, yes. Are they necessary? No. And as a matter of fact, I have those cameras and don't even shoot them at weddings. I still shoot with two. I have a 1D Mark IV and a 1D Mark III, which is a 10 megapixel camera and a 16 megapixel camera. And those are my bodies that I shoot with. That's what I enjoy shooting with. I've never had a customer complain about image quality, ever. I've blown pictures up to be huge. And I think I have one right here. Okay. So this is an older picture right here. And as you can see, this is huge. This is a huge print right here. This is I believe it's an 18 by 24 print. This was shot on my 1D Mark III, which is 10 megapixels, okay guys? 10. You can't get too close because then you can't see. But 10 megapixels, guys, does this look like it's lacking in any way? I mean, let's be honest, right? Is it lacking in any way? And the simple answer would be absolutely not. It's not lacking in any way whatsoever, okay? So choosing a body in 2024, what would I choose? Now, Canon is my personal choice for a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason being is that Canon is the #1 selling camera, period. Okay, Sony is on their heels right now, but Canon is still the #1 selling camera of all times, guys, period. There's EF lenses galore, guys. You can pick up EF lenses everywhere. I don't care where. You can go to any pawn shop right now. You're gonna see EF lenses. You can go on eBay. You're gonna see, I mean, literally thousands, if not millions, of lenses, Canon lenses available to purchase right now. Okay, and they're super competitive, guys, with pricing. Pricing is very good. You can get some really nice glass for some really low amount of money. You're not going to spend much to get those nice lenses for those older cameras, guys, period. So keep that in mind. I would personally, if I was going to buy today, some of my personal favorite cameras would be the 1D Mark III. That would be great because it covers a lot of bases. You can shoot weddings with it, quinceañeras, you can shoot events, you can do studios. It sits at, I believe, 22 megapixels or 23 megapixels. So you're right in the middle of the range. You can still do some cropping if you need to. And if not, if you're really good at framing, just like I am, the 1D3 is fantastic. You can get one of those for like $200 now or less. $200 for a professional body that's gonna it's gonna give you the confidence, it's gonna let you into places you probably would not be able to get into with a regular camera, guys. So that's my opinion about buying cameras in 2023. Don't think about it too much, guys. Any camera will do, guys. Any camera will do, because it's not what the camera is able to do. It's what's up here. So if you learn the basics, any camera will do, guys. That's my take on choosing cameras in 2023. It really doesn't matter, guys. It really doesn't matter. It all comes down to learning to use what you have already, or learning to use what you can afford right now. Because later on, you know, as you advance and move ahead, you'll be able to have more money and you'll be able to get more cameras. But I mean, different cameras are more advanced cameras, but in the beginning, don't worry so much, guys. That's my opinion. You've been watching the Camera 64 podcast, and I hope you're enjoying this video. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe down below, guys. Somewhere down there, I'm not sure where it's at, but hit the subscribe button if you want to watch more of these videos. Next time, I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about because I haven't really made a schedule yet of everything that's coming up, but I think I might be talking lenses next, guys. Lenses is something that's also really important. We'll get into it on the next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.